A YouTuber, Josh Strife Hays, may or may not have hurt some people's feelings. And I really kind of appreciate everything he was saying here in this clip on his channel. So let's go.
I saw a comment on YouTube.
I wish it wouldn't autoplay like that when I would make the screen large. Let's go see what Josh Strife Hays has to say about investing time into video games. I really love his take here. And I think this is something very important to discuss and talk about, especially in the world that we live in.
I saw a comment on YouTube a few days ago. Comment on a video of New World. And someone responded to the video I made about New World. And they said, "Can't believe I just bought and enjoyed this. What a waste." And I responded saying, how long have you played it for? And they
This is wild. This is absolutely wild to me.
were like, oh, about 2 years. And this is what's worrying me about continuing to cover MMORPGs. I will do it, but this is what worries me about it. People see their gaming time as investment, which they should not do. People think that when they play...
See, and this is one of the things that I've kind of argued that it's nice to enjoy something, but it's not good to lose yourself into that thing. And his point here is so poignant that for those who see their game time, the games that they play, the entertainment media that they consume as investment generally means that after a while of engaging with that thing, you're going to receive something back, right? You're going to receive something, and not just joy, right? You're going to put in something right now, and then later down the road, you're going to get that back, and you're going to get that back more plentifully. And when people invest their life, their energy, their mindset, their time, you're not getting anything back. All you're doing is giving. You're not ever going to get anything back. The purpose of buying entertainment media is to usually shut your brain off for a minute, or in some high-intensity games, turn it on for a minute and engage in that moment. But once you've spent that time with that media, you're never getting that time back. Once time is gone, it's gone, and it's gone for good.
Play a video game, they are investing into their future, which is not a healthy or smart position to be in. If you buy a video game and you play it and you enjoy it, and then that game shuts down, yeah, that sucks, don't get me wrong, but you have never had an investment. This has never been an investment. This was a hobby that you enjoyed.
Absolutely.
That may or may not continue.
And he's 100% correct here. He's 100% correct. And the fact that people do not live in the outside world enough to it's not like when you start a garden, right? When you invest time into when you invest time into a garden, well, you get food from that garden. There's something that you get, payoff. When you invest time into fixing your vehicle, you get a running fucking vehicle. Oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, if you invest time into your career and your skills and the path that you're going on in life, you can get a better career. You can get a promotion. You can move to a different job, do better things, bigger and better things, right? You buy a house, you invest money into a house, that house appreciates in value. You can sell that house, get some money out, go buy a bigger house if you want, or even a smaller house in some instances, which is exactly what I'm going to do when I sell this fucking house that we've got now, which I love this house. But again, when you're investing time into entertainment, there is no investment. You get nothing back from it. It is a one-way street. You are taking the limited time that you have in your life today, right now, you are giving it to that piece of entertainment and effectively walking away, because you are never ever getting that time back. And there is nothing you can do when you're watching a movie, reading a comic book, reading a book, or playing a video game that is going to give you something in the future for that time that you spent.
Would you feel if you went to go and see a live band and then a week after you saw them live, they announced they were splitting up? Would you be there going, my investment in that band is ruined? If you went to a really nice restaurant and you had a lovely meal at the restaurant, and then a month later the restaurant shuts down, would you there going, oh, my investment in that restaurant is ruined? Oh no, because you knew that you were paying for an experience that would at some point end. You know that when you play an MMORPG or a game, at some point it's going to end. I'm happy I experienced it. Don't get me wrong, it sucks that it's shut down. That's not a fun thing, but it's also not an investment.
I can't believe people got mad over this. Like, the idea that we live in a world where people are so infantilized that they think they're going to get something back out of playing, or that the thing that they're doing engaging with entertainment media is greater than just the moments that they spend with it in that moment, is wild to me. Like, to identify yourself by the games that you play. Literally we talk about the people online, although, the crazy identities, and no, this is my identity and this is how I identify. There are people out there who unassumingly identify themselves by the games that they play, not because they get into some crazy ideology, not because they buy into certain politics, but simply because they have put their brain space and their time and their effort and their energy so much so into this thing that they view this thing that they're doing as an alternate life, or as something that's greater than their actual life. And by doing such, they think that when this thing ends, it's catastrophic to them, because now their identity is gone. The thing that gave them purpose, sadly, is gone. If you think that you're investing into a game, you must be under the false premise that the game is providing purpose to you. It's not.
People are looking for games, specifically MMORPGs, to replace their life. They want to no longer put time and energy and invest into themselves.
Exactly.
They want to replace themselves with a digital persona, with a game. They want to invest into that instead.
Yep.
They want that to be the thing that has value and maintains a level of stability. And when that goes away, they see that their time into it has been wasted, because their time was never about playing the game. Their time was about becoming the game.
I totally forgot that he had said that. Yes. Absolutely.
That's what it was. People forget that it's okay for an experience to end. Like, imagine that you read all of the Lord of the Rings books, and at the end you finish the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, you close the book and you're like, well, that's a wasted investment. I invested all my time into reading those books and now it just ends. What a stupid investment. No, because it's okay for art.
Well, for those of you guys who've hung out with me for years, you've heard me say, a story with no end is a story without purpose. A game with no end is a game without purpose. A TV show with no end is a TV show without purpose, and oftentimes a lot of TV shows will end way after they lose their purpose. It's why I was avid that Disney should not continue the Skywalker storyline if they were going to do Star Wars. That's why I was avid about, we need to stop doing these rebrands or continuing these series. Like, I don't need a 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th game title or a 19th movie in a series. I'm perfectly fine if John Wick never makes another movie again. I'm totally fine if another Halo game never comes out again, because at a certain point, once you go past a natural ending, you go past the natural purpose, and you thusly then lose the purpose of that media. And guess what? The purpose of the time that you spent with it. And that's where the devaluation of this comes in. And that's where when you want to just keep investing time and more time and more time and more time into this thing, effectively what you're doing is a story that is only supposed to be there for a moment. You're dragging out for years, and you no longer and now what you're doing is you're identifying yourself with something that has become purposeless. It no longer has any purpose because the writers did not let it end when it needed to. An ending is something that all of us need to face in life. And ending is something that all of us need to contend with, to grow, to learn from. And by robbing ourselves from that ending and by investing ourselves into something that we think is just going to go on and on forever, and by not paying attention to the real world around us, in fact, it's not an investment, it's a detriment. And a terrible one at that.
Not for a hobby. It is okay for a process of enjoyable experience to end. Sometimes it's good if it does. You're playing Lord of the Rings online for 18 years, and each year I fear the game will shut down. One day it will. One day it totally will shut down, and that's okay.
I can't imagine spending 18 years of my life playing a game. I play a game, I get to the end, I'm like, cool, that was fun. I'm gonna keep my love.
Put my shit back in the bedroom then. I'll go get him in there. Put me in there.
No.
Suck, but it's okay for art to end. It would be great if it stays available, because I believe in the Stop Killing Games initiative, but I also don't think that it is the responsibility of art to replace your life. Yeah, Lord of the Rings Online is a great game. I've spoken to some of the people that have made it. They are lovely people that are super passionate about the game. In fact, some of them reached out to me after I made my worst.
And that, I think that's one of the things that we need to be more critical of in society. When people are like, we need to look at somebody and be like, hey, so yeah, like your personality is like become this thing. Like, oh, well, that's just how I am. Okay, well, that's not how you're supposed to be. Don't do that. That's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for those around you.
MMO ever Lord of the Rings Online episode, and they responded saying, hey, it was really nice to see you guys notice some of the stuff that we were doing. Really glad you had a good time in it. And I did have a good time. I don't think it's the best, but I had a good time. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, the TV show, didn't have the best ending. Bit of an understatement, but we'll just stick with that. People have said to me they feel bad about investing in the first few seasons because the final seasons were bad. And I'm like, you never invested. You watched them. You experienced.
See, and this is how I feel like with Supernatural. Supernatural, the first 5 seasons, I contend that the first 5 seasons of Supernatural are some of the best television ever put to TV. But just because it kind of started falling off after that, and the last season I didn't even watch because it was terrible, doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of Supernatural anymore. It means that they had a damn good run. They went beyond the point of their purpose, for sure. But I don't regret watching the first 5 seasons. Hell, I would actually even say the first 8 seasons are good for me. I don't regret watching that. I don't think just because it fell off a cliff. I think, no, they should have ended it a little sooner. But I'm like, oh, woe is me. Woe is me. How could I have spent all of this time? I just, if, you know, it's like, no, you're a fucking show. You're there. You're going to be gone one day. You're going to be good today. You're probably not going to be good tomorrow.
Experienced them. They are still, taken in isolation, good. Seasons 1 to 5, Game of Thrones, top notch. Seasons 1 to 5 of Supernatural, top notch.
He said it.
Phenomenal.
I forgot he said it.
Some people had their soul crushed, though. If you are putting your soul into artwork made by somebody else and giving them full creative control over it, you are being way too fast and loose with your soul. You are invested in your feelings, absolutely, which is why it's totally okay to be annoyed at a project not going the way you want it to, but unless you have complete power and creative control over it, it is dangerous to give someone or something else that much power over you. Staying with something you don't enjoy just to protect your investment. That's a really good point. How many of you...
And I kept telling people for years with certain things, I'm like, nope, it's going to fall off. It's going to fall off. It's already bad. It's not good. Gotcha. Like, well, you know, and it's like, there's the sunken cost fallacy. Like, there is a sunken cost fallacy. There's a thing that I get into, like, I'll start watching an anime, and because I watch a lot of anime now, because I'm going to be honest with you, there's just a lot. I'm not going to pay for that many subscription services to go out and watch the live action television. That, like, there's one subscription service in the US to watch anime on pretty much, and it's Crunchyroll, right? So it's all in one place. But if I want to go watch all these live action television shows that everybody's telling me are so great, I need to have 17 different streaming services. But anyway, I'll watch an anime and I'll get into it. And I'm just sitting there watching, and I get so many episodes in, and I'm just, this is terrible. Why am I watching this anymore? I'm like, okay, fuck it. I got to see how it ends. That's not me investing my time. That's me engaging with morbid curiosity. That's how I feel about Rising of the Shield Hero. I fucking hate that show. I hate it. I can't stand it. I still watch it because I just have this morbid curiosity to be like, I want this to end badly. Like, it's terrible, but I'm not invested into it. I haven't watched it in a long time, you know, but I'll get that hankering and I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm going to put myself through the torture again, you know, but I'm not sitting here being like, what? But like, my personality is to hate this show. No, of course it's not. It's close to my personality.
You have continued watching TV shows or reading books or specifically playing MMORPG games long past the point you actually enjoyed them because you were continuing to invest and had invested into them. Because they were no longer a game that you played, they were simply a part of the personality that you now had.
Another way to phrase what he is saying here is, think about it this way. If you're going into it to invest into something, usually there's a return on investment, right? Think about everything you do in your life. When you invest time into something, time doing something. When you're cooking, you take the time to cook something. What do you get? You get a wonderful meal out of it. Unless you suck at cooking, then you get ramen. That's how you do. But you get something back. When you invest time into, when you start playing a video game, what do you get when you're done playing that video game? Nothing. You get to go to bed. You get to go to work. You invest time into work, you get money back for your life, right? You invest time into working out, you get better health. You invest time into preparing a party, inviting people over to a barbecue, cooking the food, and you get a wonderful experience with friends and family and good food and memories. When you invest time into a video game, you might, just maybe, possibly get a okay memory out of it. Maybe 1 in 100 times. I've played video games with my guys, with my friends a lot. Never invested time into it. We just play video games. And every so often, we'll just get this absolutely funny memory that's one that's just going to stick with us forever. My buddies got me back into playing video games in 2019 because of the Modern Warfare 2019 that came out. And I had not played a first-person shooter in over a decade. It had been a long time. So my buddies were trying to like get me back up. So they were like 1v1ing me in the small maps and stuff like that. And I was sitting there with my buddy, and I can't even remember. We were on one of like it was like a warehouse map. And there was like this thing in the middle that you could like, and it was like platforms that had 2 ramps that came up, and it was like a small person, a small team map. And I remember sitting there, and I'm still playing terribly, but we're playing, and I'm trying to sneak up on my buddy, and I kind of know where he is. And I just for a random moment, I go, I got a lovely bunch of coconuts, and I jump up, and there's my buddy, and right after I say coconuts, my gun goes off, and I go, and I shoot him, and I kill him in Call of Duty. I have to say that. And without missing a beat, it sounded like this. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are, standing in a row. We couldn't fucking breathe. My buddy was laughing so hard, he ended up losing the match to me. And at that point, I hadn't picked up a controller in a decade on a first-person shooter. I didn't know what fucking ADS was because I was a Halo 2 kid, and you didn't aim down sights in Halo 2. Master Chief don't aim down sights, okay? And it was funny. But that's 1 in 1,000 times that I've played with my friends at this point. Can you imagine trying to invest time into video games to attempt to get that natural, comical fucking memory from it? My goodness Lord. That just sounds sad to me.
Why do people think it's an investment? Because people put far too much time into it, and they don't want to admit that the time they put into something doesn't necessarily have value. It's okay to play something, to enjoy it, and to move on. When people message me saying, have you quit whatever game they want to mention, they message me because they haven't seen me play it in a while. And I turn around and I say, no, I haven't quit. I'm just doing other things. Because people find it very difficult if they invest into a thing, like a game, they find it difficult that other people can enjoy something without investing. Like, I can enjoy a process without emotionally committing to it. If you want...
That is, I love how he said that. You can enjoy a process without emotionally investing into it. Madness, I see you in the chat. We're going to get to the chats here in just a second. You can enjoy the process without emotionally investing into that process. Because that is to the detriment of yourself.
Yeah, that's a great line. If you want to hate a game, try to 100% it. Have I quit Warframe? No. I downloaded Warframe again in order to get footage for the video that I was making, and ended up wasting like 3 hours just playing it. It was great fun. I had a good time. You don't have to finish a game. You don't have to continue doing any process that you don't enjoy doing. This is when nuance just breaks down and media literacy is terrible. People, when I say something like, you don't have to continue a process that you don't enjoy, people message me going, but Josh, at the start of this conversation, you said that pacing is important and things can start slow and you might not necessarily get to the good bit of something right away. To which I respond, yeah, you have to get that there's nuance and subtlety and specifics to this.
You have to understand there's context to every situation. The frustration on his face just there. Let's back up for a second. The frustration, let's
get that there's nuance and subtlety and specifics to
that frustration. Oh my God, that's how I feel. That frustration that people are, but this thing, and you're just like, do you live in a world where the data set that your brain operates within cannot compute connecting multiple data sets? Like, do you understand every situation is not comparable to every other situation? Like, and it's not, people call it nuance, it's context, it's this thing that we used to call critical thinking. It's extrapolation. It's comprehension. Fucking comprehend. Take just a moment and think deeper than the single level, the first tier of thinking. Go, what do they call it? Multi-tiered thing. I can't fucking remember the name of it. Oh, first order thinking. There's first order, second order, and all of that. Think for a moment that just because I give this example here does not necessarily mean it ties into the context of the example that I'm giving here. Because it's exhausting to try to explain to people how to fill in that fucking gap. Because I have, and I would assume Josh Strife Hays is similar, 30 plus years of knowledge between my ears. And if I give an example over here in the conversation, when I get to here in the conversation, I'm using the knowledge to just say, okay, I assume that the people listening to me right now have some semblance of the knowledge that I have right now, and thusly I don't need to explain 5 years of experience or knowledge that I have to tell you this context doesn't equal this context, you internet midwit.
This. I don't necessarily enjoy the first episode of Firefly, but I understand that it's important in the narrative setup and the construction of it. It's so... People like to take what you say and then just immediately flip it around.
All the time.
Someone just said, I'm enjoying...
All of the time. I have had that happen so many times, and it is infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating.
I saw a comment on...
It's going to play again. I cannot believe that people got mad at that video. This is... It... I have nothing left to say on that, or I will just go into a blind rage. If you got mad or insulted at that video, strongly reevaluate your life and the prioritization of your time, because time is the one thing you own and the one thing you will never get back. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. And as always, I'm going to turn it over to the live chat right now.